right, so we have first day of course, first day of the term. Probably most of you were in the, I don't know, if not the previous B term, previous terms before. Just so you know, this is what you got to go to the home page. Some of you don't see this on your phone. Make sure you go here. Look at all this stuff about the apparently this semester, or this term anyway, just through May, I guess. Cengage is just going to let you roll the trial over if you don't have Cengage access. When I talk about clicking on a content link, remember that everything is going to go through the modules. All right. So if we click on the modules, your first content link is here. It's the actual book. You click on this, keep clicking. This will link our particular course to, and you, right, to the Cengage world. All right, so don't hunt around in the Cengage world in MindTap in and of itself. Okay, but right now you've hopefully, you're probably working on your introductory response, making sure you have access and all that sort of stuff. Hopefully that's okay, going okay. Let me know, message me if you have questions. I'm going to skip right now to what's going to happen in chapter 1, beginnings, because these things come quick. All right, so what you generally need to do is you got to read the chapter, right? There's a little preview there for the chapter. That'll come up as well. Remember, the chapter is going to come up. This is what it's going to look like. You go through the chapter, and you can see my screencast that's it's already posted, but it's going to look like this. And you're going to read through the chapter. We're going to talk about, I already have one posted on reading strategies, probably going to post some more. And at the end of the day, you're going to come up with, the first thing you're going to do is come up with some reading questions. And so let's just go right to it. What you need to do, it's easier if you just take these questions here, you open them, and it's a blank template. You're creating 250 words every assignment. I have 415 here because all of these are counting. See, I already have 165 total words with the questions, with the outcomes we're meeting, and all of that. So I'm going to go to a previous course. Let's talk more in detail about answering the questions. All right, first of all, I have a lot of questions for these, I believe the first couple assignments. That's just to help you make words. Try to answer all the questions. If you do, get a barrage out in one or two of these, and you make your words off of that. So one, what is the difference between the Paleolithic and Neolithic eras? Why do you think it is important? So according to this student, so differences between the Paleolithic and Neolithic eras is during the Neolithic era, life became more. Okay, well, let's see what she means by that. They had crops to harvest, and stone was replaced by metal not very long after the era had begun. Okay, so crops very important till the Neolithic. Some understanding of what's going on in that section of the book. To me, I think this is important because that if the Neolithic era ever came to be, who knows what life today would be. I'm not sure what she's talking about here. Went from not having a life in Paleo to having a life in the Neo. That's her interpretation. But in any case, before I make a judgment about what the student said, notice that there is no textual support. So just a short quote or so from the text, and we'll talk about citing correctly a little bit later on. For now, just get them in. Make sure there are quotations around just a little bit. That's not your whole answer. Your whole answer is your words. It's good that she's doing that and that she has her words. It's bad that she doesn't have a little bit of support. Support, quoted material from the book, or in the future, my screencasts. Same thing. Okay, so she seems to be getting at the idea in Paleo, they moved around with hunter-gatherer, right? Neolithic, predicated on farming, did not move it around so much. I'm not sure, not having I don't know what that means. That needs to be more specific. such as to having a life in the new. A lot of people would think that paleo is actually a much more interesting life. So I'm not sure what she means by this. You all students, meaning students in the past, do this quite a bit. Way too vague. All right, so think of such as. All right, for example. All right, this is the one section. A lot of people don't get this section. All right, start out with is a specific one page in your book. Just look at this one page. I explained to my sister why this Tycoons of Trade was important. The discovery is important due to that it was a puzzle solver. Okay, well, like, again, what does that mean? It solved what? Why do we care about this? It helped people a great deal in trade. How? All right, my sister has no idea what it's done, but then she never heard of it. Okay, this probably could be a lot better answer. All right, also no support. All right, nothing from the chapter. So I think the student just doesn't understand this section. All right, sort of got the surface, but didn't really go in detail. Briefly describe a few differences between the old Egyptian kingdom and the new Egyptian kingdom. Old kingdom, they did not build temples as they did in the new kingdom. Okay, or pyramids, right? If you remember the screencast, they ran out of rock, so they moved to the Valley of the Kings. The art is between the two kingdoms. Okay, that is like how. So vague. Well, there was one at Hatshepsut, but that wasn't. Okay, so same sort of thing here. Too vague. Does not seem really as if the student really understood the section. Minoans. All right, so a surface level here, and then just kind of something tossed in at the end. All right, so I'm going to do a few of these this time, and you're not going to get one of these every time. It's just while we're coming along, these are typical student uploads, and so I've pointed out a couple of the things that seem incorrect right now. Remember, do not get thrown by the changing word count. It's just because the existing material changes every time. All you're doing is creating at least 250 words every time. Message me with questions.